What is up, YouTube? Okay guys, we're here in my kitchen and I just started a keto diet not too long ago. If you don't know what a keto diet is, it is a diet that consists mainly of fats with moderate protein and very low carbohydrates. So I just started a cutting diet using this style of dieting, and I'm gonna go through every meal I eat today. That way you can get an idea roughly of what's in a keto diet, and if you wanna take some examples away from this for your own diet, if you're trying to lose fat. My goal is to lose weight while retaining as much of my hard-earned muscle mass as possible. So that's this style of dieting. This may be a little different from your traditional keto cutting diet, but like I said, my goal is strictly body composition. I want to be big, I want my muscles to be full, and I want to be lean. So that's the goal and the purpose of this diet right here. So I'm going to go through every meal I eat today and the exact quantities, the macro breakdown. I'm even going to prepare a couple for you that I don't already have pre-prepped to kind of see what goes into this. So if you guys are ready, I am. So starting out with meal one, I've been fasting all day. I do intermittent fasting as well. So it's about 2 p.m., which is usually when I break my fast. We're gonna go ahead and do meal one, which, like I said, keto dieting. Our goal here is fats and proteins. So what I'm gonna do 6 eggs, and we're gonna scramble those up. We're gonna do 45 grams of bacon, and then we're gonna do 85 grams of broccoli, and we're gonna mix that in with the eggs while they're cooking. So the way I like to do this, you can obviously prepare it any way you want. What I like to do first though, I like to cook my bacon, right? Get it pretty good. Let the grease kind of collect, because the goal with this diet is a lot of people are looking at grease is the bad thing, right? But that's part of your fat content. That's what you want for energy. So we're gonna sop up as much of that as we can. I'm gonna cook the bacon first. I'm gonna get that good. We're gonna use the leftover grease in there. We're gonna make the eggs in with that, throw the broccoli in, and we're gonna just have a nice dish here. So typically what I'll do, I work from home now because this is my full-time job. But usually I could make this in advance and then put it in a Tupperware container, eat it later. But now we're just gonna prepare it at home and do it because, you know, I work from home, so it's easier that way. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so we went ahead, I've already got my eggs deshelled. Is that the right word, deshelled? Mm-hmm. Got my eggs broken up there in the bowl. We've already weighed out our bacon and we got our broccoli. I'd already prepped the broccoli in advance, so it was just in the fridge. I just shredded it because it's gonna be going in the eggs. So I'll make it a little easier, spread it out more throughout the entire meal. So put the scale up. So first thing we're gonna do is I wanna hit the pan with some non-stick cooking spray. Now I would normally, since I'm on a keto diet, you can throw cooking oils in here, your olive oils, your coconut oils, but this bacon is gonna create so much of its own grease. When I have used coconut oil and bacon before, it makes really good bacon, but you're just left with this thick sludge of grease. So we'll save that coconut oil for later on, but hit this with the non-stick cooking spray here. I have been letting this preheat. I feel like that speeds up cooking time and just really makes the food overall taste better. I think the faster it cooks, give it kind of, I like my food a little crispy, so we're gonna throw the bacon in here, and we're gonna spread it out. All right, so we got the bacon in here. Let me wash my hands real quick, and I will be right back. All right, now that my hands are washed, always make sure you wash your hands after handling raw meat. You don't wanna spread those germs around and get anybody sick. But we're gonna throw the lid on this here. This bacon is so good. That's the thing too, about a keto diet I've noticed. You don't really need a whole lot of seasonings on your stuff because fat gives stuff such a rich flavor anyway. So we're gonna throw this lid on here. I will be back once this bacon's done. We're gonna pull the bacon, then we're gonna cook the eggs, and then we're gonna have meal number one, so stay tuned. All right, checking on the bacon real quick. All right, we are getting close to done. I like to cook mine a little more, just because I like it to be crispy. So you see all that grease that's piling in there? That is gonna be perfect for when we add the eggs in. Just give it an awesome flavor. So we're gonna lid this back up. I'll be back here in a second once this is done. So the bacon's done. We got the bacon cooked. We're gonna pull it off to the side, and we still have all the grease kind of sitting here in the pan, as you can kind of see. So we're gonna use this to cook the eggs with. So what I'll do first, I like to take the broccoli that I've already had chopped up. We're just gonna put it here in the pan. Then I'm gonna move it around and let it kind of soak up a little bit in that fat too. And now I take the eggs. We're gonna go ahead and just add the eggs in here. And we're still running off the heat from where the bacon cooked, so these will cook extremely fast. And the biggest tip is don't walk away from this. Stay with it, because it's literally gonna cook extremely fast. You wanna get in here and mix everything up. Okay, so now that that's there, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the lid back on. All right, we're gonna let that sit for a second. This type of diet really lacks in electrolytes. You wanna make sure you're getting your sodium in. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of seasoned salt on here. Like I said, you have to be careful with seasonings on a keto diet because you don't want any extra sugar or any hidden carbohydrates in your diet, because that can knock you out of ketosis and the entire fat burning process gets shut off. So we are going to stay pretty basic with all seasonings. Like I said, your fats really will go ahead and flavor it good anyways. So I'm just do a tiny bit of chopped onion on here. Nothing crazy, okay? And then a dash of some garlic powder. There we go. Now we're getting close to done. Make sure you stir it up here. Oh, it smells really good. All right, guys, the eggs are officially done, so we're gonna go ahead and add them to our plate here. Go ahead and do. Man, that is a lot of eggs. So what I do is a dietary tool. I use MyFitnessPal. It's an app you can get on any smartphone, desktop, tablet, whatever. And I track my macros with it. So I can see here the macros for this meal in particular. 53 grams of protein, we got 49 grams of fat, and only 6 grams of carbohydrates. So the carbohydrates are gonna come from the broccoli and trace amounts in the eggs. But what you do, so my diet typically stays under 20 grams of net carbs. What net carbs are is the amount of carbohydrates in your diet after you subtract fiber. So right now, if I look in here, app's super helpful, by the way, MyFitnessPal. We got 2 grams of fiber. So really in this, my carbs are at about 4 for the day with this meal after you subtract the fiber. Fiber is essential on a keto diet, so to make sure you're staying regular. Constipation is a huge side effect of keto. That's the sad truth. I haven't experienced it yet, but I like to get my veggies in. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna eat this meal here, and then I will be back here in a little bit for meal number 2, so stay tuned. All right, guys, we're back for meal number 2. Pretty basic meal here. Like I said, the primary component of the keto diet is gonna be proteins and fats. So for our fats here, we're gonna have some extra virgin coconut oil. And then what we're gonna do for our proteins is we're gonna have, I already have some chicken drumsticks here that I have prepped out and cooked in advance. So I did these yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead, you can eat the meat right off the bone if you want to, but with this, I'm weighing everything out and measuring it, and you can't really factor that bone into your weight, so you're not eating that bone. So I'm gonna remove it from the drumstick and I'm gonna weigh it out. So this calls for 4 ounces or 112 grams of cooked chicken drumstick, and we have 10 grams of coconut oil already in the pan that we are letting heat up, and then once I get this, I'm gonna add it to that pan. So stay tuned, I will be back here in a second. So we weighed this out, like I said, 112 grams here. I'm gonna add it to this pan. We've been having this preheat here, this oil, so it heats up and cooks faster. Like I said, efficiency is always what I like to focus on when I'm prepping food. This is gonna bubble though, so watch out. We're gonna add our chicken in. Woo! Back up. And now the chicken's already been cooked, right? So all I'm really doing is warming it up, letting it absorb that oil. It's gonna give it a really good taste and kind of combine the two. That way I'm not just eating the chicken and spooning the coconut oil, although I would do that. This is gonna make it a little better tasting. All right, so meal 2 is officially done. Now the macros for this are gonna be 18 grams of fat and 21 grams of protein. So we're getting 10 grams of fat from the coconut oil. Super healthy fats, by the way. If you've never had coconut oil, it makes almost anything you cook with taste better. We got the chicken drumstick right here, which is going to account for some of the fat and all the protein. So 21 grams of protein, and what's that leave us with? If that's 10, 8 of the grams of fat. Am I doing that math right? Yeah, so super good here, guys. You know, chicken breast is pretty boring. Regular chicken breast doesn't have a lot of fat in it, so the flavor for it leaves a lot to be desired. Whereas chicken drumstick, there's a lot of fat in with it, so the natural flavors are just really good. So like I said, not a lot of seasonings required here. This kind of seasons itself with the fat, so super satiating, super good. This is a nice little mini meal. Like I said, I would normally, in other meal preps for other diets, I would pair a vegetable with it, but we're trying to keep our carbs as low as possible, and I have some meals later on, they're gonna have some of the veggies back in with them. So I'm gonna go ahead and eat this, and I will be back for meal number 3. Okay guys, back with meal number 3. Now what I got here is just a basic cheese stick, some protein, some fat, and then I'm gonna have some almond butter, but this is a special brand. I really want you to see this. Now, this brand in particular is really good for a keto diet because your goal is to keep your net carbs low, right? Well, this has 7 grams of carbs per serving, which seems like a lot, but 4 grams of that's fiber. So really we're getting about 3 grams of net carbs. So yeah, the Barney butter, smooth with no added salt or sugar is the way to go. So this is a quick, easy meal. If I was out and about, this would be one I would take with me, kind of like a snack. You wanna make sure you're weighing everything, obviously, especially the almond butter. These are pre-portioned, so you're good to go on the macros. You wanna make sure you're weighing this out really close. It's easy to go over on almond butter. So I like to weigh it out, and I typically would put it in like a little travel container and eat it on the go, but like I said, I'm at home today, I don't really got anything to go do, so I'm just gonna do it here, weigh it out, eat it with a spoon, nothing crazy. I'm gonna show you real quick how I weigh this stuff out. For some of you guys, like I said, this might seem like a basic concept, but for real, some people don't know, so I like to include all these little pieces of information here. That way, if you have never used a scale before, you kind of have a rough idea of where to start. So first and foremost, you wanna put whatever you have on the scale. You notice I haven't turned it on yet. We're gonna go ahead and turn it on. And that's gonna put it at 0, right? Because it's gonna factor that weight into here and it's gonna make it 0. So we know that right now we're zeroed out. Then I go in here with my spoon. 32 grams is in a serving, by the way. I'll take a little bit out, and you see here we're at -15, or -18. So it found out where we were at. So basically I would come in here, keep adding to it, -34, right? 32 is where we want, so we'll put a little bit of that back in there. All right, we're just gonna go with 33. 33 is good enough for me. You wanna make sure you're close. I like to do grams because grams is about as accurate. You're gonna get ounces you have a little bit of leeway with, but grams is really close. As long as you're +or-2, you should be fine. So we got 33 grams here. We're gonna call that a serving. Now, like I said, I would've normally put this in a container, but right now we're showing at home, so I'm just gonna spoon it. But like I said, I factor everything in my phone. So we have 20 grams of fat, 7 grams of carbs, only 3 net though, and then we have 13 grams of protein. So nice, quick, easy keto snack you can enjoy on the go. So I'm gonna go ahead and have this, and then I'll be back for meal number 4. Okay guys, it is meal number 4 time. It's getting closer to evening, so I'm gonna go ahead and wind it down. It's gonna be the last meal I actually cooked today. But I have some salmon. Now, I wanted to show you this so you guys had a rough idea. I buy salmon frozen, right, in a pack, and then what I'll do when I need them, I will throw the frozen pack in some warm water and let it thaw out before I cook it. And then what I do, I never buy fresh vegetables and prep them. I just don't have the time. I don't want to mess with always buying them and stuff. So I buy the frozen steam bags, right? And what I'll do is I'll microwave these guys, and it makes them super easy to prep your vegetables. Everything's good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead. I just wanted to give you guys this info because some people want to overcomplicate this stuff. It's not hard to get your veggies in. Frozen steam bags are key, and then you don't have to buy fresh salmon because it's super expensive. Salmon in general is expensive, but if you buy it frozen, it's just way easier leaving it in your freezer and then thaw it right before when you need it. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking this stuff, and I will be back. All right, so we got our steamed veggies right here. So we got the cauliflower weighed out in portion. We got about 85 grams of cauliflower there, or 3 ounces. And then we have, I went ahead and pre-weighed my coconut oil this time so you can see it, but I have 15 grams of coconut oil in here. So we're gonna use that to cook our salmon with. So let me go ahead, I will throw, actually what I like to do, I'll still use a little bit of this to make sure it doesn't stick to the pan. Like I said, preheating your pans is essential. So go in here, hit it a little bit. We're gonna throw our coconut oil in there. I'm gonna kind of move this around in here to let that oil separate all over. Ice skating. Until it melts. It does look like ice skating, doesn't it? And then once that's good, we're gonna go ahead and add our salmon to the table, or fowl. And then we're gonna add, okay, we're gonna let that sit there. I'm gonna wash my hands really quick, throw the lid on that, and then we'll be back to check on it. Okay, we're gonna check on the salmon now. Fish cooks extremely fast, especially if you preheat your pans. I can't stress the pan preheating enough. If you wanna get through your meal prep really quick, preheat your pans. Buy yourself a big pan too with a lid on it. Captures a lot of that heat in there, cooks things really fast. Now, I'm gonna take the lid off. Whoop. Now I'm gonna add a little bit of seasoned salt to this as well. I don't go crazy with my seasonings, guys. I don't know, some people you can season this stuff to your liking. I like to get it in, get it done, really. And with keto, you don't want to have the extra sugar that could potentially be in a lot of different seasonings. So double check your seasonings. But we're gonna flip these over. There we go. All right, so we got these flipped. Gonna add a little more seasonings to each side here. And then let me lid that. These should be finished here soon, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I think the salmon is officially done. Let's take this off here. Let's go ahead and put this on the plate. All right, so this is gonna be my meal number 4, 8 ounces of salmon and 84 grams of cauliflower. Now let me go ahead, like I said, I always track the macros, so let me go ahead and tell you the exact macros for this meal. Okay, so the macros for this meal are, we have 59 grams of protein, mainly coming from the 8 ounces of salmon right there. We have 25 grams of fat, 10 of it being omega-3s that are coming from the salmon alone. And then we have 15 grams of fat that is coming strictly from the coconut oil we use. We use 15 grams of it. A good indicator of that, if you're using olive oil or if you're using coconut oil, the exact gram and weight of whatever you're using is the exact grams in fat you're going to get. So 50 grams of coconut oil equals 15 grams of fat. No other nutrients in that either. There's no carbohydrates and there's no protein. And then we have 4 grams of carbs with 2 grams of fiber from the cauliflower. So really our net carbs is about 2 right there. So not bad at all. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna eat this. And then for the final meal of the day, I will be back here momentarily before bed and I'll show you what the final thing I have is. All right guys, the final meal of the day, nothing crazy, but I'm just doing a protein shake. So we're just gonna have 1 scoop of this BPI ISO HD. Now this stuff's really good because when you're doing a protein shake on a ketogenic diet, you wanna make sure, obviously the protein's high, your fat can be a little higher, but a lot of times that's gonna come with extra carbohydrates you don't need. So this only has 2 grams of carbs per serving, 25 grams of protein, and 1 gram of fat per scoop. So essentially, you're not really overloading your carbs. You're not getting yourself out of ketosis or any of that stuff. So good brand here. I recommend it. Tastes pretty good as well. So I just do 1 scoop in a protein shake as my last meal of the day, and then I kind of let my food digest. I'm the type of guy, I don't like to eat right before bed because if I do, my sleep seems to be interrupted and I don't sleep as well. So I like to give my food some time to digest. So my final meal of the day, gonna be a protein shake. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna crunch all these numbers. I'm gonna give you guys a full macro total for the entire day and a full calorie total as well. So give me 1 second, let me crunch these numbers and I will be right back. All right guys, so I went ahead and crunched all the numbers. Now the key is as you go throughout the day, you can add your stuff into this app and it really just keeps track of everything for you. Make sure you're hitting the right macros and everything fits your goals. Now I don't expect everybody to be as strict with weighing their food and doing, exactly this the way that I like to do it. So, a keto diet is really just eat a lot of fat, eat some protein, keep your carbs minimal, but I really like to track everything. My goal is, I like to do bodybuilding, so I like to be shredded and I like to bulk. I like to just have complete control over my body. So using the scale is good for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and list these macros for you. That way you know exactly what's in this entire meal prep. It equals 1,799 calories, and then individual macro wise, we have 113 grams of fat, we have 171 grams of protein, and 19 grams of carbohydrates, with 7 grams of that being fiber, so only 12 grams of net carbs. You can take this a little higher. Some people say ketogenic diets, you can have under 20 net, some people say under 30, some say under 40. I think it's an individual thing. They have testing strips you can actually buy that'll tell you, it's gross, but you urinate on them, and it tells you if your body is in ketosis or not. So, all right guys, that concludes the ketogenic cutting diet video. Hopefully you got some value out of this. I like to make content like this so I can kind of steer people in the right direction, especially when you're not used to meal prepping, weighing your food. I can kind of give you a rough idea of how this stuff works. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my channel. I have tons of great content, fitness related. I do dieting stuff. I do meal prep stuff, and some funny humor stuff thrown in there as well. So yeah, subscribe to me. I would really appreciate it. Go ahead and like my video and all that good stuff, guys. I appreciate you for watching this. Let me know if there's any ideas for future content you would like to see on my channel. As always, I appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. And yeah, keep killing it. You guys have a good day. Talk to you later.